Welcome to the Altcoin Hour, your weekly alpha. Yeah, we breaking down the charts, flipping bags, playing smart, from the dips to the moon shots, connecting all the dots. Let's get it. Altcoin Hour.
All right. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing good. Welcome again. Hand clap to you one more time. Got a lot of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on today. We're going to be talking about this a pretty decent upgrade too with Solana. We're going to be talking about Saylor, Bitcoin, Clarity Act. Lots of things that are going on today, and I got to adjust something too right quick. And we're going to have a giveaway too. Most definitely have a giveaway. I got to make sure you guys are hearing me. Let me make sure that everything is okay with the sound, and we'll get started here. And I think we're good. I think we're all good here. So again, we have a lot to get into today. Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin. We're going to talk about what's going on with this downslide. There's a lot of things that are going on with the Clarity Act as well. The deadline is July. They're trying to get this done this month, but I think July the 4th is probably going to give us a weird fractional, a kind of a fractionalized type of bill. I don't think in its entirety it's going to pass as is. We'll get into what's being talked about because there's senators. They may have moved this and kind of advanced it to the floor, but I don't think it's going to be officially voted on once this does start, as they say they are. There are a handful of senators, and there are some actual, lobbying going on. There's the banking committee is having a second thoughts when it comes to the stablecoin agreement. So everything is not absolute when it comes to the Clarity Act, and I think we're going to get a weird bill. I think they're going to trim it down to where they can just get something passed, in July. I think July the 4th is what Trump wants. So we'll get into it. Bitcoin is 76,000. What's going on, LMFG? I hope you're feeling great, bro. I got the just in case you want to come up, the link is up top, brother. We're going to be getting into Solana's really amazing upgrade too. We don't know what's going on with ETH. ETH is kind of backsliding. I'm not talking about the price because every altcoin is moving crazy right now. But when it comes to infrastructure, Solana is really moving into a territory, and we're talking beyond meme territory, right? What they're doing is pretty amazing. So we're going to get into the core of this new upgrade. Is in testnet, but when this thing goes live, Solana is going to, it's going to shed its skin, its meme skin, and it's going to be pretty ferocious. We'll get into the nuances of it because I think it's very important. $85, I think is where it is right now. We're going to get into it. The actual SEC has did some unique things when it comes to tokenized securities as well. They're going to be allowing synthetic securities, which is very interesting. I thought that was very interesting. We'll get into that language as well. We got a lot to get into. So let's go ahead and make the break to the market, and then we'll get into some articles as well. This is going to be a good show. All right, let's go. Most definitely, I want to get into this particular market jump right here because what we have here, and I'm going to, I like to start with Bitcoin. Obviously, $76,000. Michael Saylor's buy. He actually did a pretty small buy too as well, but well over $2 billion spent. I think the Saylor camp is well over 843,000 BTC coins. I want to hand clap that because people like that. A lot of people like that. And by the way, you have massive outflows when it comes to the ETFs, $648 million. And we're talking about Fidelity and BlackRock out the door. Okay. But the institutions keep buying this deal. They're not afraid of it. Michael Saylor, I think he had a pretty small buy too as well, culminate. And that was kind of a compounded with the large $2 billion buy. So they're going to continue to do it. There's some interesting perspective there when it comes to the stock strategies versus these Bitcoin buys. We may get into that article. I don't know if we'll have time, but I think that inviting is pretty interesting. But they keep buying the dip, essentially. Saylor's not actually backing up on this. And he did actually say recently that they may be selling some as well. This is strategically they're going to be selling going forward. We'll see how that goes. I thought the floor was 8K, but apparently that's not a feasible floor. And I think if you are smart going into the next 4 months, especially if your portfolio is kind of doing the Y2 you're going to sell. You're going to be strategic. You're going to buy here. You're going to sell here. You're not just going to hold, right? You're not just going to lose money. And there's some interesting issue with Hyperliquid too as well, and how they're kind of fighting with the big boys. And they're actually marked a pretty good deal with USDC as well. So we may get into that. There's so much to get into, so much information. I don't think I can get it all in 1 hour, but we'll see what we can do. $76,000 for Bitcoin. I think it's going to get back up to 77. Let's go ahead and go down with the alts. You see Ethereum, $2,100. There's a major backslide when it comes to ETH. And I'm not talking about the actual price. We're talking infrastructurally. There's been a stall out approach, while Solana is straight full steam ahead with the new upgrade. And we'll get into the nuances. We're going to pop the hood on that upgrade. It's in testnet. And I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. When we talk about throughput issues, when we talk about the validator issues, they pretty much dealt with that pretty aggressively with this new upgrade. So we'll get into that. I know the validators are going to love it. XRP, $1.36, down 5%. Solana, $84. I think, you're getting a good buy, because going into the next year, Solana's going to be turbocharged essentially. And we'll get into these upgrades because it's decent. And Firedancer, that's a phased rollout, guys. So we were talking about that last year. That's still phasing in. So Solana's doing some major upgrades. Tron, 35 cents, up 1% actually. Hyperliquid is booming. This thing is pumping very hard. There's a USDC, a deal with Circle that inked a deal there. Major competition when it comes to the big boys in the real world. A lot of people are paying attention to Hyperliquid. And I'm not talking about internally in the space. I'm talking outside of the space. People are looking at Hyperliquid and they're like, this is a major competitor here. And they're making moves up 20%. The community understands what's going on. $12 billion market cap with that. A lot of room to go with that market cap. Lots of room. Talked about Zcash in the member video, up across the board, slightly down within an hour, trying to push back up to $600. I think this is pretty cool to see this happening, because it bottomed out at around $200. A lot of people were thinking this is going to go to all-time lows. They're back just below $600. So this Prophecy Protocol, OG protocol, kind of picked up everything and got back in line. Jay, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show. So they're back rolling. I didn't think it was going to die, but it didn't look good with the internal fighting, dev team collapse. It's back almost at $600. So you don't want to hand clap that. If you bought it at $200, you're looking pretty good. I don't think a lot of people are throwing a lot of money into it because they thought it was going to die, but it's up, across the board, slightly down for the hour, but pretty decent with a $9 billion market cap. Cardano, 24 cents. It's down across the board. XMR, it is getting back up to $400 as well. So these OG privacy protocols, which they got the green light from the government, from the SEC, CFTC, they got the green light across the board. Even the actual mixers, green light across the board. So no problem there, that's great for DeFi. We're going to get a look at I need to pull up the TVL, because I need to take a look at the actual TVL when it comes to globally decentralized finance TVL. I haven't looked at that in a while, so we may take a little trip over there to see what's going on there as well. Chainlink, $9. Chainlink, I'm going to do a video on Chainlink, and not specifically Chainlink. It's going to be other competitors and other platforms that are moving like Chainlink that you need to be actually focused on. Because Chainlink spearheaded a massive adoption movement going into the real world. This happened a couple of years ago, but with the AWS, the Amazon Web Services adoption here being pulled into that arena, I think that is going to actually shed some light on 3 other platforms that I think a lot of people are not looking at, that move just like Chainlink. They don't have the carbon copy, the actual copy and paste infrastructure, but they can do the same thing. And I think they're going to actually get pulled into the space as well, outside of the space, into the real world. They're going to be adopted, and I'm going to be dropping that video soon. 3 projects that move and talk and swing just like Chainlink. They're going to be adopted, and they're looking pretty damn good price-wise too, so we're looking out for that video. Canton, 14 cents, 2% down. I'm loving Canton. I'm DCing in. If you understand and if you know what's going on there, you might ought to take a look at it. You might ought to put that in your watch list. Look at the white paper. Look at what's going on with the recent partnerships and the recent movements and what the devs are doing and what this platform is for and what it can actually, how it can perform and how it can be adopted. I suggest you look into that because at 5.7 billion, I think it's a pretty cheap way of getting in, not financial advice, when it comes to what's going on there and the adoption that's in store going into the next 5 years. This can balloon up to be a very fabulous situation for a lot of you if you actually understand what's going on there. And if you can do it, because a lot of people are moving out of the market because of the economy, because of what's going on geopolitically, because of the high gas prices and living expenses that people are incurring, high mortgage rates, all this, outside, noise, if you will. It's affecting the space. Buyership is affecting stocks. The rich are going to do what they're going to do, but that's a low percentage of buyership when it comes to crypto and when it comes to stocks, right? You need retail. You need movement. We are a service-based economy, so that affects buyership. So this is why you're getting dips across the board. And if all war breaks out, if nothing de-escalates, if we don't get full-scale 100% de-escalation in the Middle East and everything goes bonkers, you're going to get some major buying opportunities. I'm just going to say it like that, all right? So just be mindful of Canton and Chainlink, things of this nature, right? Tonecoin, $2. It's trying to get back up to $2.5, down 13% though from that huge pump, from all that great news with the infrastructure upgrade. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think it's going to get up to $5 like I'm seeing a lot of people are saying in Telegram, but I think it's going to move very, very quickly post language. If we get that, we're going to be talking about the Clarity Act here in a little bit. Solana and more on Bitcoin as well. Stellar 14 cents down. Stellar is not doing so good, guys. Down. I think this is probably the worst performer in the top 20 when it comes to price movements. Infrastructurally stagnant as well. Not too sure what's going on there, but we'll get back to that later this week. Meme Core $3, and we're going to stop at SUI and Litecoin. SUI $1. Infrastructure upgrades there as well. Big RWA tokenized asset movement in the SUI chain just recently. Litecoin $54, and we'll wrap it up with AVAX $9. Big shout out to the AVAX devs. I think they're going to do very well. It's smoldering, but I think it's going to be adopted as well. Hand clap for the altcoins. Bitcoin, let's go ahead and get into these breaking stories here. I want to get right into this tokenized asset situation because this is big news. This is big news. SEC tokenized stock exemptions to let equities move onto crypto rails. This is huge. All right, this is huge. And I want to actually bring in the fact that they're going to be allowing synthetic tokenized securities, which is very interesting to me because you see this within the DeFi realm with the synthetic token tags within the decentralized applications when you're staking and getting yield and things of this nature. This is a common approach when it comes to decentralization. Now you're going to see this moving into these tokenized stock arenas, which is interesting. You're going to be able to have tokenized synthetic securities as well. So they're adopting what's already within the space and moving into this tokenized realm. The SEC is really trying to blend crypto and real world stock activity. Will we see a merge? And this is the thing. Will all of this merge into one entity? When I look at what's going on here with language, I think this is what's happening. I think everything is starting to merge together. Do we want that? I don't know. How does Bitcoin perform under a merged entity, under a merged atmosphere? Don't know. I think we're going to find out pretty soon because with it being splintered, with everything running in parallel, I think it's harder for the regulators to actually regulate. So I think what they're trying to do is to merge all of this together onto one rail. How does that look for DeFi going forward? I think we're going to find out. But in general, I think this is what's happening here. I could be wrong, but I think we're looking at a monorail type of activity that we're going to have, going into the future. Everything running on one entity. It's going to be one entity. Crypto, stocks, all this tokenization, RWA activity, CBDCs, because they're coming. I don't care what they say on Congress. We're moving towards that. You see that outside of the country already happening, okay, with the BRICS and all this, with the digital currency that China's implanted. It is what it is. This is going to be, all of this is going to be merged into one entity. I think this is where it is. But I want to get into this a little bit because this is very interesting what they've done here. And we'll get into the language too when it comes to what the SEC is doing. And mind you, when it comes to the BTC dip, a lot of that has to do with outflow with ETFs in the actual incoming Fed. What are they going to do with interest rates? I think they're going to raise them. A lot of people don't think that, obviously. But I think that the interest rates, they're not going to go up amazingly high, but I don't think they're going to go down. And this is why you see the actual selling of treasury bonds in Japan. This is affecting Bitcoin as well as the ETF outflow. But you have institutions, you have Saylor, MicroStrategies, and you have other private buyers that are buying this dip because they see a bright light. They see a bright light. They're looking long term. This is why you see the buying of the dips here. But when you think about the infrastructure, when you think about stocks, tokenized, commodities, and like gold and copper, all this merging of what we see in metals and equities in trading, futures, hyperliquid, what hyperliquid is doing, trying to merge into the real world, which they are doing that very, very aggressively. I think all of this is going to end up on one rail. I think everything is about to merge together. This is going to be interesting what happens to the dollar when that happens, because we're going to go completely digital with the finances are going to go completely be merged into blockchain. This is going to take a while. I believe this is going to take maybe 10 years to actually finalize, and we're just in the birth pain stage. We're in the early stage of this. Now, I'm not talking crypto movement because we're not early there, but I'm talking about the maturation process when it comes to blockchain being adopted, the infrastructure of DeFi being contorted and molded and adopted as well. And then the end of fiat. We're in the early stages of that, and we're in the actual language stage of it. And we'll get into that Clarity Act because I'm not really bullish on that as well. I want to read this. I want to dive into this subheadline. A planned SEC exemption for tokenized stocks could let equities trade through crypto native infrastructure, testing whether stablecoins, automated market makers, and programmable settlement can enter U.S. market plumbing. Now, if you ask me, I think this is what Solana is basically going to. This is why they're shedding the meme activity. This is why this massive upgrade is in testnet. It's about to go live. This is what this is for. They're getting this chain ready for this. And this is the only chain that I see that's getting ready for this. Honestly, especially on with the expedited movement that they're going with this particular upgrade that we're about to get into. I'm going to break this down because it's going to supercharge that chain. It's going to be very, very hospitable for this activity. Now, I'm not saying other devs aren't doing this, but Solana is full steam ahead when it comes to getting ready for this activity. Full steam ahead. Let's get into the body of this, and then we'll move on into the Clarity Act, and we'll get into the Solana upgrade. The SEC is expected to release an innovation exemption for tokenized stocks as soon as this week. The SEC Chair Paul Atkins and Commissioner Hester Peirce, which I thought she was going to retire, obviously she's not, had already sketched a plan for February describing a temporary limited framework volume, which kind of like caps the volume. Whitelisted buyers and sellers, automated market makers, and temporary relief while the SEC, these exemptions are very, very important too as well, while the SEC develops long-term rules. Again, this is a 10-year term. I'm giving this 10 years. It's going to take a decade for this to all be finalized and off and running, and we're having a great time. 10 years. Buckle up, all right? Because we haven't even got past the Clarity Act. So buckle up. We still have time to get our shit together. Atkins confirmed in April that the agency was on the cusp of releasing a combined framework for compliant and on-chain trading of tokenized securities. This is good. Bloomberg Law reports the move on May 18th, which represents clearest crypto-adjacent securities policy signal in years, with implications that will run well beyond token prices. So the crypto exemption was a long-awaited situation. All right. Now, the SEC defines tokenized securities in January 2026 as traditional securities represented as crypto assets, with crypto network maintaining ownership records in a whole or in a part. So we're talking blockchain ledger activity here. This is all going on chain. Everything is about to go on chain, which is very, 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 very cool. This is what we need, especially for you who are invested in these particular chains that are going to be leveraged for this. And there are going to be some private permissions, but I think a lot of the chains that we're invested in are going to be adopted. A lot of the actual protocols like Chainlink are going to be adopted. We see that already. I think there's some private adoption that's going on that hasn't been announced yet as well. But this is where we're headed to. And I don't want to go too deep into this because I want to get into other things today. But this is a great movement going forward. And, I want to hand clap this. So I'm really happy to see this. Now, I want to get back to Bitcoin real quick before we move on into the Clarity Act. So currently $76,000. We talked about the actual bleeding of the ETFs. Massive exit, guys. I'm going to go ahead and round this up to $700 million. We're talking BlackRock, Fidelity, a lot of the ETF vehicles. They brought in a lot of money all the way up to 82,000 and then massively backslid. This is what we're dealing with here. Now, I want to get into what has occurred in the last 2 weeks. We're talking about a slot all the way from 82 to 77. 76 is where we're at right now, dropping 73%. And I'm talking retail value. Now, I want you to focus on the retail value that it has dropped 73%. We have inflation. We have oil prices. We have geopolitics involved here. We're talking Bitcoin price. All this in a whole, Saylor strategy is still buying Bitcoin. $2 billion purchase. Well over 843,000 BTC in the coffers and counting. And they had a small buy as well. I think on the 16th. Very tiny buy. Testing the waters. I don't know. A lot of the analysts are watching the White House strategic Bitcoin reserve update as well. That's going to be coming this week. So you have all of this outflow with ETFs. All right. You have these liquidations that are going on as well. A lot of people playing the market. Yet the institutions, big funds, they're buying these dips, guys. So I don't know if that's smart or not. The long-term goal, I totally see that. But when it comes to retail demand dropping 73%, that is a problem for Bitcoin. That is a problem for altcoins as well. And that's a problem for stock market as well. Now, we know the big boys are holding the Mag 7 up. We understand what's going on with the stock market. If you don't understand, that doesn't represent the real world. That is a compartmentalized, that is an isolated situation that is being propped up by long money and AI as well. So I don't even pay attention to that. That's not a good barometer. All right. You're going to lose big time if you depend on the stocks and the S&P to dictate your movements, because that's big boy stuff right there. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, retail is very important. I don't care what anybody says. When you see this demand dropping to 73%, that means anytime you get outflow with ETF vehicles, it's going to register big time drops, big time reduction, big time lower level trajectory in the pricing. As you can see, from 82 to 76, that's a big deal. That's a big drop. And the reason why it's dropping so fast is because big money coming in, big money coming out. That moves Bitcoin profusely, very aggressively. We're not talking about little incremental buys, shrimps and sharks. No, we're talking about whales. We're talking about fund managers. We're talking about ETF vehicles that are buying billion-dollar purchases within a couple of days. This is why it's moving so quickly, because the retail is gone. It literally almost gone. 73% of the demand. That's huge. That's pretty close to 80% retail exodus. Okay, and I could say the same about Ethereum as well. So where do we go from here? Obviously, we need the Clarity Act. Obviously, we need to understand what's going on with inflation. Is it going to go down or is it going to go up? Obviously, it's going to go up even more if the oil prices don't go down, which I don't see that going down anytime soon. We're getting really close to the bottom barrel of the reserves. We are running through our reserves very quickly. Across the world, people are running through their reserves because oil isn't moving right now. So these geopolitical factors actually, just micro headwinds in a whole, they affect these markets, guys. So when you're getting all these institutions gobbling up these dips because they have the money, and retail is running out the back door, this is a bad recipe for a huge crash, especially if war breaks out once again and we get rate hikes, which I think war is going to raise the interest rates. No doubt about that. 25 basis points, 75, who knows? But they're not going to go down. And I think this is why you have Japan, which nobody's really paying attention to Japan, but this is why you have Japan selling treasury bonds, $30 billion worth within the last couple of days. They are going to continue to do that as long as geopolitically everything goes downhill. So this is affecting markets. Now you can pump S&P all you want, but this is at the end of the day, when all hell breaks loose, the crash is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be the mother of all crashes because everything is bubbled up here. Okay. And if you think these institutions are going to hold on while this thing crashes to 50K, you got another thing coming because that fear is going to shake the market even more. So my floor, my drastic floor is 50K, bar none. That's my floor. That 80K test, that showed me a lot. That showed me a lot. It didn't pass the 80K test, even with all this institutional inflow. So I'm seeing this ETF outflow recently, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm worried about this market because it's very, very shaky. It's running on fumes, very, very old money, and I think the institutions are getting very shaky right now. I think these ETF vehicles are getting very shaky right now. I don't think we're gonna get the Clarity Act. We're about to get to that. That's just my thoughts, and I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to let you guys kind of chew on that. I don't know where you're at with it, but even with these massive institutional buys in the background, that 73% drop in retail demand across the board worries me because that is the backbone of the space, retail. I don't care what anybody says. Without that money, it is what it is. It is what it is. So Bitcoin, $76,000. ETF floor. This all this is. We'll see what happens with the Clarity Act. They want that passed by July the 4th. This is what the White House is saying. We're going to get into this because I don't think we're going to get it. Now, regulatory rocket fuel is going to be the next segment here. Clarity Act advances plus SEC Tokenized Stocks framework. We're talking about that. This is the biggest pro-crypto regulative or regulatory movement or momentum in months. The Senate Banking Committee advances the bipartisan Clarity Act, digital asset market structure bill with a strong vote. And the SEC is reportedly preparing a major innovation exemption. We talked about that just recently. Okay. And the synthetic tokenization, that's crazy. Synthetic securities, I don't think they was going to allow that, but they are. So they're really opening the door to us. It's really interesting. Now, analysts say this could unlock trillions, guys. Just to wrap this up, they're saying this is going to be $1 trillion unlock of inflow into the system. I believe that. I truly believe that. But we have to get the Clarity Act passed. We have to get this. The framework has to be passed in its entirety. Probably not. But we need to get this in because a lot of infrastructure is waiting on this. A lot of actual developers are waiting on this too as well. Solana's not waiting on this. We're going to get into that amazing upgrade that they're about to drop. But there's a lot of other devs that need this language. So this is crazy. $1 trillion worth of capital. It's going to legitimize on-chain finance. This is what we're waiting on. This is what's in the pipe. Okay. But on the other side, you have this institutional juggernaut that has completely hijacked Bitcoin. And that's the only reason why we're at 76 right now, because retail is done. Retail is done. Now I want to get to this Clarity Act situation. Before I want to get some comments too that came up here just recently. I want to get to this because this is something that we must talk about, because there's a lot of let's just say there's a lot of people that are talking about. I want to clear some things up because even though it's out of the committee, that's not a checker flag. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why here. The beautiful Clarity Act, Capitol Hill. This is what we're talking about, and it's so unfortunate. I want to get to this comment here. So Short Awakens says, depending on what you define as retail, what's your definition for retail? It's not institutional inflow. That's for sure. It's me and you. Okay. And a lot of us out here are running low on funds. I don't know about you. I'm not saying, you're broke, but we're spending a lot more money than we were 5 years ago. The Shard Awakening says no one thinks they themselves are a retail investor. Well, we're specifically talking about people who are in the know, who do invest, because you could argue that the investor, the staunch investor, the actual seasoned investor versus ordinary people who can give two shits about crypto and stocks, that's, of course, there's a divide there. No question about that. I talk to people who can care less about stocks. I talk to a lot of people who really don't understand crypto. I talk to people who don't even invest in 401ks. They've already extinguished that because they think it's a waste. I know people who don't even, buy insurance, medical insurance, because they think it's a scam. So, there is a divide there when it comes to retail investors versus people who are just retailer, in retail, outside of the space. Just spends money. There's a lot of people that I would love to bring into the space if they're scared. There's a lot of people that should be investing in stocks, but they're not because they're afraid. They don't understand stocks. They don't understand how gold moves and how copper moves. I know people who would love to dive into metals, but they just don't get it. There's an educational gap there that needs to be actually bridged. And I think we'll get that there. But, the definition of retail, and we're talking retail investors, man, that's a broad definition. There's a whole lot of variables there because a lot of people they're gone. I was looking at the chart, 73 reduction in retail demand when it comes to cryptocurrency and stock market. And I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on the ground when it comes to their pocketbook. They're liquidating their portfolios, they're getting out of stocks, they're killing their 401ks because they just can't afford it, man. Because the expenses right now, Jesus, within the last 2 years, it's up by almost 250% for most people, what they're spending. So they can't afford to invest anymore. They can't afford to hold. They have to take their profits now. They have to liquidate. So, this is something that I didn't bake into the cake. I did not bake the war into the cake. That's for sure. This Iran conflict, this was not baked into the cake 5 years ago. I didn't think this was going to happen. I didn't think that the administration would be this careless. But here we are. So this is affecting everything. LMFG says a minimum 7 Democrat senators will have to vote yay on the Clarity Act vote. That will be 7 people that will retire November the 3rd, taking huge kickbacks or feel the wrath of Nancy. Well, Elizabeth Warren is still on the warpath. And she's all about ethics. She's all about blocking Trump and Trump's family from further investment, further involvement in these activities. And she's not alone. This is why I don't think it's going to pass in its current state, the ethics part. And then you have the banking committee. They're coming back too because they got railed. This compromise is really bad for the banks. I don't know if you guys understand this. It's really good for us. This is why Coinbase kind of backed up on the actual retort because they're happy. The crypto committee is like, hell yeah, sign this. Get it to the president real quick. And the banking committee is like, wait. Hey, I think we better revisit this because they got railed. They are losers. If this Clarity Act goes through right now, as is, the banks, they're huge losers. And I can't believe they compromised like this. We'll see. But they lost big time. LMFG says Warren is starting to look like a fool to the public about time. Yeah, she's got a lot of backing. There's a lot of people that really agree with her and that are backing her. LMFG. They're not on CNN saying this, but there's a lot of people that are fully behind Warren and the other senators that are behind her as well about this ethics language. And a lot of it I agree with. I'm talking ethics. I agree with it. Consumer protection, I agree with that. If you don't agree with consumer protection, investor protection, I don't know what to tell you. Because this space has been wild, wild west for some time. And we've seen a lot of mischievous behavior when it comes to developer behavior, ruggings of platforms, crazy meme coin activity, decentralized application devs that are pulling money from the back end. There has to be some type of accountability. Come on. There has to. Or we get completely taken advantage of. So, and then there are some things about Miss Warren that I don't I think it's just a waste of time. So I want to get into the Clarity Act situation. Clarity Act industry scores a win as Clarity regulation bill clears Senate. Now, listen, this is my opinion. This bill is going nowhere in its current state. All right. Here's a couple of bullet points here. 2 Democrats voted to advance the bill, but cautious that they might not support it on the Senate floor. This is the actual broad focus here. Because we have this movement with the Clarity Act. This beautiful movement that was reported. Oh, it made great headlines. Oh, everybody's so happy. It moved. Great. It's going to the floor. It made for good headlines and good tweets, good conversation. But this is not really as good as you think it is. Okay, because you have a lot of Democrats that are not going to vote on this when it comes live on the floor. They moved it, but if you think they're going to, they want to, listen, they want to win midterms so bad. And I think they're going to have an easy time doing it. Okay. As we see now, if we held midterms today, Republicans will lose very, very aggressively. It is what it is. So we have some time. So they want to win midterms. I think a lot of them are advancing this just to completely embarrass their counterparts once this goes live on the floor, because they don't agree with the ethics. The banking committee is like, we need to go back to the table on the stablecoin situation, because as we read it today, we think we agreed on something that's going to rail us. And it is. There's so many loopholes in this particular compromise. It's crazy. None of the passive rewards are going to go away under the current language if it goes through. The bank's lost. So, I think they're going to fight for some new amendments. That's going to stall it out even more. So 2030 is, or 2029, I think this is what you're looking at. This thing is going to be shelved because I don't think they're going to actually agree with any of this shit. It's ridiculous. So you need bipartisan support, obviously. Trump wants this. It's very advantageous for Trump in the family business, especially the crypto business. This bill is going to allow Trump to make so much money, especially when you combine this with the Genius Act. That USD1 stablecoin is going to bring in so much money for the Trumps. This is why Warren and other senators are like, we can't allow this. If this passes within the next 3 years, the Trumps, it is what it is. They're going to make so much money on USD1. World Liberty Finance, so much money straight into the Trump coffers while he's still president. A lot of Democrats don't like that. And these particular Democrats that are like, hell no, they're going to be the ones that vote this down. This is why I'm telling you guys, this thing moving and advancing means absolutely nothing. When the rubber meets the road, ethics matters. And I think Trump killed this with its involvement with what's going on with World Liberty Finance, with the USD1, all that collateralization, all that Abu Dhabi, investing, even CZ was said to actually, assist in the USD1 infrastructure using the Binance toolage. These Democrats do not like that. And they're going to have a big say in this bipartisan movement. And as far as I see it, they're going to vote this down in its current state, unless they change the ethics and make it very hard for Trump to proceed. And of course, they don't want any congressman meddling in crypto and investing. This is why it's not going to go anywhere, because you have a stalemate there. If you think the congressmen are going to give away all that money that they've been making the past decade, all that insider trading, you got another thing coming. They're not going to give that up. And if you think Trump is going to sign a bill that's going to basically exclude him and shut him down when it comes to cryptocurrency businesses, when it comes to what he has going right now, if you think he's going to sign that, think again. It'll be signing his own fate. It would basically be, regulating himself out of it. I don't think he's going to do it. So there's a lot of things that are about to happen on the floor, and I don't think it's going to be very positive, and it'll be shelved. So what happens to blockchain? What happens to crypto after they shelve this act, after they shelve this language? We still have the Genius Act. Executively, I don't think Trump could do anything, maybe pass a couple of executive orders. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, does that get shelved too as well? Do they forget that? Does that get put on the back burner? I mean, there's a lot of things we need to talk about when it comes to this, because there's a lot that's pending. Now, as far as protocols like Chainlink, it's not going to hurt that situation. Okay. Pipe, it's not going to hurt those. Bitcoin is going to continue to do what it's doing. A lot of the altcoins are going to continue to do what they're doing, but they just won't get the rights of passage when it comes to moving it in adoption. It's going to stop that. That's what we need. That's what's going to make this space fly into the stratosphere. Adoption. You can build all you want. You can market all you want, but it's just a circle jerk right now. It's just a circle jerk of money right now that's not moving outside of the space. It's just old money circulating. Same old BS, right? We need language to actually move to the next level. We need that inflow. We need retail too. That's 73% down. We need that to come back to maybe 50%, of that up. We need that back up too. We need people to be happy to come into the space and to partake. And we need security too as well. We need investor protection. That's how we move to the next level. If we don't get that, we're going to continue to spin in a circle, spin in a rut. And the same old BS is going to continue to happen in this space. I don't want that. I don't think you want that. I think you guys want to evolve. I think most of you want this space to evolve. We want innovation. We want outside entities to come in and leverage this beautiful tech. That's what I want. I'm kind of tired of spinning in a rut here. Same old BS. The Republican-led Senate Banking Committee on Thursday advanced the long-awaited legislation that would create regulation for cryptocurrency. Clarity Act is what we're talking about. Landmark step forward. But that's not all that we need. Now, I want to get into this one piece right here, because not all of these senators are going to vote for this. Now, Senator Elizabeth Warren, top Democrat on the Banking Committee, expressed concerns at the markup that the bill was too friendly for crypto companies. So she's part of the Banking Committee, guys. And she's not the only one. She's just leading it. She's basically saying, along with a lot of the other guys and women as well, congresswomen as a whole, the markup is way too friendly to crypto companies. This is a quote, and this is a shared quote too from the Banking Committee. Our job is to serve the American people. Our job is not to advance pro-industry crypto bills that will put American consumers and American investors and our national security in our financial systems at risk, unquote. We will not vote for any as such. So you can move this out of the committee, but when it comes to the floor, this is what this bill has going forward. There is still a lot of negativity that is actually being launched towards this language. It's too friendly for cryptos. It's basically loophole friendly, right? No investor protection, they say. And I saw a lot. Honestly, I saw a lot of investor protection, so I'm not sure what she's talking about there, but I saw actually too much. It's overkill when it comes to that, but I digress from that. I think they're just focused on Trump. I think they're mainly focused on most definitely stablecoin yield, passive, yield, things of that nature. They're very concerned about that flight from, real world banking into DeFi. They're afraid of that. They're claiming trillions of dollars are going to be lost. Lots of the banking infrastructure is going to be compromised. I agree. If I can get 5% to double digit yield versus what I'm getting in the real world right now, I'm going to go to that. I'm going to fly. I'm going to pull my money and I'm going to move. They're right about that. Most smart people are going to do that. Totally get it. But that is what it is. Change is coming. This is what evolution looks like. When you move forward, things change. Old collapses, new comes abroad. Everything has a transition. LMFG says Clarity Act passes before November the 3rd. The GOP inks it, millions of votes. Yeah, man, that is a very optimistic view, bro. You're assuming that they're going to sweep the midterms. I think this is you're assuming there's going to be a GOP landslide victory, midterms victory. I get that. I understand, brother. That listen, there's a big wall still ahead. big time. And check this out here. The industry spent more than $119 million back in crypto candidates in 2024, hoping to advance the Clarity Act and separate the bill's paving and actually pave the way for wider adoption of dollar-backed tokens known as stablecoins. That is the Genius Act. But we're talking about well over $119 million that were spent lobbying for this. This is why a lot of senators are like, is the agenda pure? Is it pure? I think we're 10 years away from this. I'm sorry. I don't think these people are ever going to agree on this. And if they do, if we do get a bill in July, it's not going to look like what it looks like now. It's going to be a very slimmed down version, a very strained, a very, how should I say? It's going to be bare bones, essentially, just to get something for Donald Trump to sign on July the 4th. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be something that you're probably not going to want. I don't even think they're going to address this passive yield situation. I think it may just be completely omitted, just to get this to the door. And that's if midterms goes well, which I don't think it will for the Republicans. You get a Democratic-led Congress and this bill is going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It's done until 2030. So, if you really want to really sum it up, this midterms is going to be the decisive factor, because I don't think you're going to get it in this to Donald Trump's place, to his office anytime soon. So I think, post midterms, this is where you're going to get your clarity. And I'm talking about, what's going to happen with this language. We get a Democratic victory landslide. This thing is shelved. It ain't going nowhere. If the GOP, if you get the Republican landslide, they retain, everything goes well, I think he's going to get whatever he wants, barring any crazy request when it comes to crypto. And I think the ethics won't be a problem there. But as far as this thing moving on the Senate floor in its current state, not going to happen. I'm sorry. There's too many senators, Democrats, that aren't going to vote for this. And that's where I'm at. I'm going to start because it gets even more bearish. Tim Scott is very, very bullish on this, obviously. But there's just too many senators that are like, you know what, we're not going to go for this. We're not going to go for this. And this is unfortunately where we're at here when it comes to that. I want to read one more quote, and we're going to get to Solana, because the Solana thing is absolutely amazing. You know what? I'm gonna pull off on this because I went too long. This is bearish, but I just want to clear some things up because I see a lot of tweets on X, a lot of videos that are out about this, and they're saying it's going to pass. We're good, guys. We're going to get the. No, we're not. No, we're not. Not in its current state. All right, so I just want to be that guy to say, you know what? Be careful who you're listening to and what you're reading, because this has hit a wall once again. Once again. The banking committee is coming back, running amendments. You have Warren in the actual, the crypto committee is like, let's go, let's roll. But you have a lot of actual things that are coming up once again with this passive yield. All right. And ethics. Those two. Pay attention to that, because if you get compromised there, and if you get okay when it comes to ethics, or whether they strip it out entirely, which they're not going to do, that's when you're going to get full passage. But as is, it's not going anywhere. And that's terrible, because we need this. We really, really need this. So it is what it is. Let's go ahead and move briskly to this breaking report on Solana. I really like this. Major network upgrades driving Solana's performance. Now, the reason why I don't want to really talk about this is because of the Alpenglow consensus upgrade. Now, this is mainly, and welcome to the show, Mama. Sorry, I hope you're doing well. And everybody that's listening, welcome to the show. You can come up. There's a link pinned up top if you want to voice your opinion. You don't have to use a video. It's like calling into the show. And you can voice your opinion there. And we can talk on LMFG. I just saw you, brother. I just saw you. Let me make sure I got your mic on. And we're going to get you up and get your take so far on what we're talking about. Welcome to the show, man. How are you doing, brother?
Hanging in there. Still
Yeah.
getting over this bronchitis, but doing all good.
Yeah, that's what it was. I know you've been battling something, man. You've been really battling it. It was bronchitis, man. I'm hand clap to you. It seems like you won the battle, brother.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. I haven't been keeping up enough, obviously, but I think all this stuff with the Clarity Act, Warren has so many different things that she came up with. So she's throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks, just to make sure this thing doesn't get through. Because I really do think that it would help the GOP huge, and the Democrats know that.
Yeah.
I really do, because that's what they're going to be boasting about for the next couple of months, and by all means, I think they're going to fight this tooth and nail. And then, like you said, who knows? I mean, will it get kicked down the road that far? Because then they're going to have months to sit there. How many more amendments are going to come in that are going to go against? And they're going to tweak them and really come up with some crazy ass wording to stop any kind of rewards with the stable coins. They're going after the staking, everything. Crazy.
It's a huge threat.
And it really sucks, because the politicians, it's all for the banks. The banks are going to take this and try to fractionalize it. You watch. You're going to see fractionalized Bitcoin.
No,
guys.
You're right.
I don't like it, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. It's on the politicians. Pay attention who you vote for November 3rd. I believe there's a couple websites out there trying to come up with, who's pro crypto and everything. So we'll see. I don't know. It's crazy.
No, it is. And you're right. And I don't know if you caught earlier when I was telling you, they're trying to just merge everything and put all this shit on one rail. This is what I'm seeing. It was, especially with the new SEC, exemptions and the tokenized language, very interesting that they're allowing synthetic tokenized securities as well. I thought that was very interesting. They have like 3 different models that they introduced. So I really think that they're trying to merge real world and blockchain world, crypto world, all of this. They want to put it on one rail. So we talk about fractionalizing the infrastructure of Bitcoin, bringing in DeFi, merging DeFi and CeFi, which we already see kind of glimpse of that right now. Do you agree? They're really trying to merge everything. They're trying to compartmentalize everything, because I think it'd be better for regulators to have everything on one rail versus the way it is now. What do you think?
Right. No, agreed. And that's where it's just going to get real sticky with all the ins and outs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the banks are winning, man, guys. These politicians are taking the kickbacks, taking the Disney trips. You got Warren, and it's not just Warren, guys. There's a bunch of them that are screaming and fighting and just voting. And half of them probably don't even know what the hell they're voting for, because they didn't read it, and they don't read, or they read it, and they don't even understand it, but they don't try to educate themselves. So it's a mess, man. We'll see.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid of the technology, guys. No matter what, this is the future of it's the next version of all voice data and communications. It's blockchain cryptography is amazing. It really is. So don't be afraid and say, "Oh, that's it. It's over." No, because when it goes, it's going to go.
No, it's definitely not over. We look at what Chainlink is doing. Chainlink is moving to its own beat. It doesn't really care about Bitcoin. Doesn't really care about legislation. So those protocols of that nature that move like that, they don't need language to succeed. We talk about all these different altcoins that really don't need, what's going on here on Capitol Hill. They don't care about that. They're still going to move. That adoption has already took place. That AWS adoption, that didn't need language to occur. LMFG, you know what I'm saying? There are sectors of the space, and there are actual blocks of technology that are going to move regardless of what's going on in the White House, because of how they're built and how they can be adopted. Especially when it comes to a brick and mortar and where we're going with this digitized, factors of currency going forward. A lot of people are going to be using digital currency. The digital dollar is coming. So infrastructures like we're about to talk about with Solana, which is crazy what they're about to do. We're going to talk about that, bro, with this consensus upgrade, huge consensus upgrade. It's going to make Solana very hospitable for this particular type of movement going forward. Now, do the other chains kind of follow this? I don't know. A lot of them, I don't think they can without barring a complete fork or a complete rebuilding of their infrastructure. But I think Solana was paying attention to what's been going on with this language and the tokenization effort, and what the SEC just did, paved the way, especially when it comes to these stocks, moving on chain, which Solana is already doing that. ETH is doing it as well. But ETH is not, I don't think it's built for it. It's, not like what Solana just did. And I don't know, what's your take on ETH? Because huge backslide, and I'm not talking price wise. They've hit a wall when it comes to infrastructure building and improvements. And I need to look into the Glamsterdam movement. What's your take, bro? Because there's some grumbling there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get some tweets from Vitalik pretty soon. What's your take on that backslide?
Yeah, I haven't been up on this at all. So.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's wild. So again, before we get to Solana, what's your take on Bitcoin? Got rejected pretty briskly. Back pretty close to 76. I don't know if you caught earlier, a huge ETF outflow right now. But Saylor and the big boys, they're buying these ETF dips. Essentially is what I like to call it. What's your take on that rejection at 82? The shattering of the 80K floor that failed pretty aggressively as well. Or are we seeing the birth pangs of a major crash to 50K? What's your take?
Yeah, well, if we start bombing Iran in the next couple of days, like he's saying, I see this thing diving. I just hope it don't go down to 50K, because that could be catastrophic from there,
No, absolutely.
And it would get rid of all the retail. Because believe me, these black rocks and stuff, they can just hang on to it. They don't care. And then they'll probably start cleaning up and taking the rest. And then they'll fractionalize it.
No, you're right, man. Yeah.
Sorry, but it is what it is. My thing is hold, because I don't care if it takes 10 years. Believe me, whatever you hold, anything that's still there will be rocking and rolling. It'll be huge.
That's if you hold, but a lot of people just can't hold, bro. They got to eat. They got to put fuel in the car, These expenses, these real world expenses are just causing, again, this was not baked into the cake, bro. So, it's, people are losing their jobs. I think California is at $8 a gallon right now. If I'm looking at $8 a gallon, I got like a 30-mile commute, I'm looking at my portfolio like, damn, this thing is looking really good right now. I think I got to liquidate. Unfortunately, I got to put food on the table for the kids. I got to get to work. I'll
tell you, my wife just went and she filled up, and it's like 420 here now, 430, and she just got it for 370. Word to the wise, we have I think it's BJ's, but like BJ's, Costco's, I think Sam's. It's worth getting that card, right? You got to pay $70 or whatever it is, $80 for the year. But at gas prices, and they're giving you 50 cents off a gallon, that adds up quick, man.
No, it does. It does. And then you're losing your job. And then your landlord calls you and says, oh, by the way, your rent went up, or your escrow. You got an escrow adjustment. Your mortgage just went up $700. Have a great day. Like you always say, have a nice fucking day. I just got one of those. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And then you're expecting these people to hold on to their portfolios. Nah, they're going to liquidate. You see that? And that's why 73% reduction in retail, bro. That's significant. That's significant. So like you said, when these big boys start getting scared, when they pull out in billions of dollars, not just $100, $200, not retail amounts. They pull out billions, and that's when you see these reductive patterns. So, we're going to keep it, I try to keep it positive, but it's when you look at the outliers, the variables at play here, geopolitics, oil, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And by the way, where's oil before we get to, I'm going to get to Solana. What is oil doing right now? I got to look at these. Bonds are back up. LMFG, this bond crisis is what I like to call it. It doesn't look good. 30-year bond is over 5. That it crossed that territory, the forbidden territory. It's above 5. You have your 10-year getting really close to 5 as well. These things are up by 1%. So bond market is cracking, bro. And then you're looking at these commodities, crude, WTI over $100, 104, spot price 140. Brent oil, $111, spot price almost 150. Not good metrics, bro. Not good at all. You have stocks that are down as well right now. Futures are looking pretty up, but stocks are reacting appropriately, I would say. And speaking of the Nikkei, almost down 1,000 points. They're selling treasuries. So, everybody's like, bull run. We're not getting a bull run. If this doesn't change, we're about to crash. LMFG. I like to tell it like it is. We're about to crash. But with that being said, came here to, what do you say, Sandbox? Came to hear some code. I like to be truthful. I'm optimistic. Just like my friend here, LMFG. We're optimistic, but you got to be realistic too as well. With the optimistic, you have to be realistic here. You have to be very cautious right now because we're teetering here. We are on the edge of the cliff big time. And I think a lot of the propping up is running out of steam because if you look at these energy prices, no movement in the Gulf, right? The selling of treasury bonds in Japan, that is the last thing that we needed was Japan to start selling treasury bonds. It is happening. And that will cascade if there's no de-escalation. It's not just going to be Japan. And they're the holders. They're the largest holders. So if they're getting into their toolbox like this and they're selling $30 billion worth of treasury bonds, what do you think the other countries are going to do? Now, with that being said, here's some good news. If you're a holder of Solana, you got some great news. Great news. What is up, Jason? Welcome to the show from Wisconsin. Welcome to the show. This Solana news, LMFG. Before we get into this, we talk about Solana, and this actual upgrade was actually voted on when Solana was $32. Okay. Now, we made fun of fire dancing, which is still being phased in. This is a great news, bro, when it comes to this. And I want to put this graphic up when we get into this. This is great news because Solana is about to be turbocharged. And we used to make fun of this, right? About putting the turbo on it. They're literally about to put, I would say, a Hellion kit on this particular chain. Now, when it comes to the nuances, when it comes to what's going on, the Alpenglow consensus redesign, LMFG, they're about to redesign this whole infrastructure. This is in rollout stage right now. Now we have the phase rollout of the validated client, Jump Crypto, higher throughput client diversity. That was Fire Dancer. That's still in basically rollout phase. CMD compute, that's going to be execution layer scaling. That is ongoing as well. 100 million compute units per block up to. ZK compression as well. It's going to deal with the data stores optimization up to 99% storage cost reduction. That's great. Lower cost. It's already pretty cheap, but we're even going lower with the cost when it comes to that particular ZK compression. And that is early adoption stages right now. But we're talking about Alpenglow, this consensus redesign. Did you see this coming, bro? Because I knew they were up under the hood tinkering, getting ready for the tokenization age, getting ready for being adopted, tokenized stocks, RWAs, shedding the meme coin theme, right? Bringing in legitimacy. Did you see this coming, bro? When it comes to complete consensus, override and complete design. Did you see this coming? I didn't.
No, not at all. And I haven't even seen anything about it. So I guess I got to check it out. Whatever happened even with Fire Dance?
It's actually apparently it's still being rolled out in phases. So that is ongoing. But this particular this is huge. Let's get into this.
You're talking a whole new consensus?
Yeah, complete overhaul. Complete overhaul.
So they're going to hard fork it, or?
Now, I don't know. They haven't really came out and said that the official, movement cycle, but this is a complete override of the consensus layer. We're about to get into it. We're about to get into the technical, the core of it. And I'm gonna try to keep it, lightweight when it comes to the techniques of it. But let's get into it because this is gonna be the broad focus of the end of the show here, and then we'll get into the giveaway as well. Alpenglow is Solana's biggest consensus overall in history, LMFG. Now, it's a complete rewrite of the core protocol that replaces, the original proof of history. So you're right. This is what we're doing here, complete overhaul. Now, and the Tower BFT as well, with a new system built around voting and finalization, upgrades, and data propagation. So this is a complete override. Proof of history is going to be the original consensus layer. They're totally redoing the whole chain with this particular situation.
So they're getting rid of proof of history.
I don't know what they're going to call it, actually. It may just be a 2.0 of proof of history. All I know is this thing is going to be turbocharged. And we're talking even going faster, 100 times faster than what it's already. Crazy what they're about to do. I hope it goes well. This is what we're talking about. It's now live on the community validator test clusters right now as of May 11th. The mainnet rollout is targeted for Q3 mid 2026. Anatoly, which is going to be the lead on this, recently said it could land as soon as next quarter if testing goes smoothly. Now, here's a core technical upgrade here. Finality speeds drops from 12.8 seconds. Today it's around 100 to 150 milliseconds, I believe. So you're talking about 100 times faster than what it already is, LMFG. Crazy. And we're talking about 80% stake confirms in around 100 milliseconds. What do you think about this? We're talking about going from 12 seconds to 150 milliseconds. Just that alone. We're talking about moving at speeds that I don't think any chain is moving at right now if this goes through. And this is going to be very easy for this chain to migrate into the real world, especially when it comes to what's going on with the NASDAQ, when it comes to Visa and MasterCard. Oh, and it's in the core. What do you think about that, bro? We haven't even got into the impacts.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, you're talking payment systems, no problem. Credit card,
no problem.
She's well, like I said, and believe me, everybody's like, oh, well, this chain or that chain. You're going to need a bunch of these chains, so they're gearing up. So once it comes in, everything's going to be on blockchain. So not one chain is going to handle everything that's coming. So it's all good. I may have to start tell my buddies, let's start looking into Solana again.
Bro,
That thing grabbed the hell out of me when it was down to $10 a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah. And see, they announced this when it was $32. Right. So, and this is pre-pump, pump.fund. This is pre-pump. So, they've completely separated themselves from that with this particular upgrade once it goes live. It's not a meme anymore. This is good. This chain is about to be adopted, crazily adopted. And it's at $85 right now. So we thought the $200 range was pretty cool. This thing is going way past $1,000 if this goes through, because it's going to be very attractive.
And we know they have money because every time they crashed, they came out, fixed whatever it was, and they spend the bucks on marketing. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, that price comes right back up. And they've done this, 7-8 times that they've had problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they always just dump money into it. And so they got something there.
Here's a little tidbit on how they're going to achieve this when it comes to what's going on here in the actual overhaul. I'm not going to get too heavy on it, but as far as the voter, excuse me. It's really lightweight off-chain BLS signature voting plus direct mesh communications, which equals no more heavy gossip or no on-chain vote transactions uploading. Now, it's going to use fast, slow paths, and it's going to completely skip certificates. All right. Now, when it comes to the rotor, stake weighted relays plus issuer coding for 18 millisecond block propagation, guys. For those of you who understand that, huge improvement over the Turban actual build. 18 millisecond block, propagation. This thing is going to be flying. Now, I worry about bottleneck effect too as well. When you have all this speed, all this going through that pipe at these speeds, hopefully they fix that. I think that's where Fire Dancer comes in. That 400 millisecond slot time, that was fixed as well. They replaced the local clocks with a proof of history grinding. So I think we're still going to keep the proof of history tag, LMFG. This is what I'm saying here. When I look at the actual intricacies of it, I don't think they're going to change that, the actual, title, because they're still using that in the language. So here are the other wins when it comes to this core upgrade. 75% less ledger bloating, double effect block space potential, simpler validator operations, which is great. Because we did, I talked to some validators, a lot of upset validators. The initial client was horrible. We have Fire Dancer that's been phased in. So, and then we have this coming up. I think the validators are going to be very happy with this. They're not going to be losing money, yeah. And let's get to it with this. Stronger resilience, 20% Byzantine plus 20% crash tolerance. For those of you who understand that. So we're talking about that bloat reduction, and we're talking 75% less than what it is. That's huge. This puts Solana in true, and you just said this, bro, Web 2 territory. Just think Visa level settlement speeds with cryptography finality on a public chain. LMFG, so far, are you impressed? I've been DCing into Solana for like the last year. So look, this was really made me smile when I actually dived into this upgrade, because I knew it was proposed back when it was $32, but I didn't know it was in the test phase right now. They're about to roll this thing out. They're about to pop the hood and implant this, do some alterations here. This is going to be a completely different engine. So far, what do you think? And you brought that up, the Visa level settlement speeds, but I'm thinking tokenization. I'm thinking RWAs. I'm thinking tokenized stocks, especially what the SEC just did, paving the way for that. Solana's getting ready for this. These devs are paying attention to what's going on in Capitol Hill. They're paying attention to the SEC. They're paying attention to the CFTC. They're paying attention to this language. They're paying attention to what's going on with stocks. The RWA movement, the TVL keeps going up when it comes to tokenized assets. What do you think, bro? Am I too happy about this? I don't know.
No, it sounds pretty rocking and rolling. Let's see how they pull this off. Like you said, it's in testnet right now, so we'll see. 4-3. That's a little aggressive for something new, unless they've been already playing with this thing for a dog's age.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, Mohammed. Undo, love Undo. Absolutely love Undo. I think they're linked with Solana too as well. I think there's some partnerships there as well. I love Undo. They have their own layer 1 too. I don't know when they're going to actually deploy that L1, but Undo has their own distinctive blockchain technology as well. I don't know what stages that is in right now, but it's going to be very, RWA centric. It's going to be built properly. I love Undo. Absolutely. Now, key impacts, we're going to talk about performance and user experience when it comes to this post, reconfiguration, the post new engine overhaul. We're going to look at developer ecosystem advantages, validator, and that economy as well. Marketing adoption narrative when it comes to this implementation of this new engine. We're about to go through all of that. Mohammed, I think it is. Not financial advice, but this is what I'm doing when I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Performance and user experience. Now, near instant confirmations, we talked about this. We're talking about the Solana upgrade. Dramatically better UX. No more waiting for confirmed versus finalized information. Now, it's going to unlock real-time applications as well. High frequency DeFi trading. There you go, LMFG. High frequency decentralized finance trading. Payments, gaming, RWAs, and tokenized assets that actually feel like traditional finance. This is where we're going. Streamlining that effect, because we have a lot of lag in the space right now when it comes to this. Decentralized applications that lag. They're not even thinking about it. I don't even think payments is a thing right now because of the speeds of a lot of chains. You have some of that, but it's still, the finality is too slow. Solana is the fix for this, LMFG. This is the solution, brother. Lower slippage for traders. That's another thing we got to look forward to. The slippage level. Very, very low slippage for traders. Tighter spreads on perps and dexes. And fewer failed transactions during congestion. So they've addressed the bottleneck. This is what I was looking for. They've addressed the bottleneck issue that you have with Solana, because we know how, previously during high congestive, periods, Solana failed. Sometimes transactions did not go through. You see that with ETH from time to time too. And I'm talking back then, before the merger, when it was proof of work, you had those congestive issues, which made gas prices go up to $500 a pop. You guys understand that? If you move back to, the early stages of ETH, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, those particular gas prices were absolutely outrageous, especially, and I'm talking Shiba Inu, post Shiba Inu. You remember those days where we were paying $300 a pop to mint NFTs?
Yeah, if you
know what I'm saying?
$300, you paid $200 on a fee.
Absolutely. That was because of the congestion, the load.
Almost 50%, 40% fees of what you were spending.
This new upgrade, and basically what this is saying, what I'm reading in this, the actual guts of it, this is a remedy for that. And Solana was already very, very cheap. It's about to get faster and even more cheaper. And the failed transactions and the congestion, this could be the remedy for that. This chain and I love Monad too as well. I think Monad addressed a lot of these issues, but I think Solana is about to leap over that. I love the Monad finality as well. They may be neck and neck when it comes to finality. Those are the two. I love both of these chains, Monad and Solana. But wow, this is where we're going. This is crazy right here. So they're addressing that when it comes to performance and user experience. It's going to be amazing for people who love Solana. You're going to get a better UX, all of this good stuff. Now, let's look at the developer side of it, because this matters too as well. This matters a lot because the devs are the ones that are making these beautiful apps, working very hard, trying to keep up with language, trying to keep everything upgraded and updated, just doing a great job, We forget to talk about the devs. See, Joe Bill says, is this do not talk about XRP under any circumstances channel? No, I love XRP, bro. I'm big on a lot of projects. XRP, been an XRP. I've been holding XRP for a long time, and I'm pretty sure LMFG will tell you too. We talk about XRP, but we're talking about Solana right now. But I was actually talking about XRP earlier. But no, this is not not talk about XRP channel. We talk about XRP as well. XRP has its place, no doubt about that. Not an XRP hater at all. I'm gonna get that out there. But back to Solana, back to this amazing upgrade. As far as developers and ecosystem type, situations, it's gonna be very easier for the builders to build apps that need speed. We're talking speed centric. We're talking applications that devs want, that are trying to build. They want it to completely fly like Flash. There's going to be no problem now going forward. Solana's already quick, but when it comes to building these apps, that atmosphere is going to be very, very advantageous for the devs that have that in mind. No more optimistic hacks as well. This is highlighted there. I'm not too sure what that is leading to, but synergies with Firedancer client for massive TPS upside as well. So again, the validator client is going to be more streamlined. They're trying to make that more appetizing for not only validators, but for TPS upside as well. Essentially, this is going to position Solana as a go-to L1 for not only institutional grade on-chain finance, especially with post-Clarity Act SEC Tokenized Stocks progress, but as well as the gamers, right? And all these other beautiful apps as well. But there's going to be an institutional wing too as well. LMFG, as far as performance and user experience, the developer side, ecosystem side, dude, this is a complete overhaul of this chain, infrastructurally and from abroad as well, when it comes to developers moving in.
Yeah, and a magic word, games. I'm telling you, you don't have a chain out there that's kicking ass with games, with blockchain. There's just too much overhead. It's not working. Whoever gets that, and where these games are running flawlessly on a chain, watch out. Rock and roll there. Because it'll be flooded. The gamers will come. And that's going to be the big test. Once that happens, that's going to test your chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're right.
Graphics, they're at what, 8K they're running now, I think, on some of these games.
Yeah, and don't forget about the assets too, tokenizing those assets, those game assets.
Right. Your guns, your uniforms, you're selling that stuff, trading it. on and on. This is huge.
Yeah, people don't understand. Gaming, it's not dead in the space. Gaming just needs an atmosphere, a proper atmosphere to actually function in. And it has to be quick. You can't be bottlenecks there because the gaming volume is tremendous. We just don't see it. You have a couple of playable games is one of them. You have Illuvium, which I don't know what the hell they're doing, but you have Illuvium. You have a couple of, I think, what is the other one? Gala, I think it is, but I think Gala kind of collapsed. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of money to be made in blockchain gaming. There's a lot of volume there too as well. It's tremendous. You see it already outside of the space. There's some gaming sectors on AVAX as well. But when it comes to Solana, I think it's very, very appetite. I think it's hospitable for that environment, especially post this particular infrastructure upgrade. I think you're going to see a resurgence in it as well. Tokenized stocks, post Clarity Act, this thing is ready for it. Institutional grade, on-chain finance, no problem there. So when it comes to validator economics, check this out now. You're going to get voting and transactions basically going to be eliminated. Validator costs drop sharply. So this is interesting too. Some estimates break even, and we're talking about staking fails. I think from 4,800 sold to 450 sold. So the cost is going to drop dramatically. Interesting. More equitable rewards and lower barriers. This is going to equal healthier, more decentralized validator sets. So this is great for the validators. All right. MEV, and let's get to the MEV too. The MEV landscape shifts as well. Malicious gaming becomes much harder and expensive. So they've addressed the MEV situation as well. This is a broad upgrade, guys. This is a big one, LMFG. Let's talk about market adoption as we end this escapade into this particular upgrade, which is phenomenal. This is basically going to move Solana, as I said before, from the fast meme coin chain to real-time settlement infrastructure. I love it. I don't know about you guys, but I love that. Institutional grade, more enterprise centric. I like it. I think this is where a lot of change should go. I think they're going to be forced to do this, right? I think so. JR says, what about Monad? I think this coin could go to $1. Yeah, absolutely. I'm bullish on Monad. But as my friend says all the time, it's going to take more than one chain. It's going to take more than one chain. But I am super bullish on Monad as well. I like a lot, especially as the L1. That thing is flaming crazy. Solana is about to, they're going Superman status with this upgrade. This is why I'm kind of spotlighting this. By the way, I got a Monad upgrade coming up too as well. Update, I'm sorry. But this is Superman status, what they're doing with Solana. All right, they're about to leap over a lot of change when it comes to institutional growth. Institutional involvement, institutional trading, right? But they're not leaving behind NFTs. They're not leaving behind gaming. They're not leaving behind the actual natural aspects. They're just making it easier for these devs to build and go faster, more secure, spend less money, have a more stable infrastructure, better throughput. This thing is going to be crazy if everything works out. Obviously, they have to execute. We have to say this. Execution is next. LMFG, we always talk about that. You can put the ingredients together, but if you don't execute properly, it can be a massive failure. And I believe these guys are going to execute this properly because it's all about execution at the end of the day, right? I think you were going to say something, brother. What did you key in?
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like I said, I mean, we know they had problems. Any chain, every time there's a problem, it looks ugly. But these guys always pull it out. They have in the past, you know what I mean? It's I'm pretty sure it's just labs, right? Not a foundation. Solana Labs.
Yeah.
They got the funds and they pull in the right people, I guess. They got the right developers. So we'll see. Rock and roll. I mean, kudos to them, you know.
Yeah, I'm happy. I can't wait I'm going to watch this closely. We're almost done, guys. I just want to give you the full Monty on what's going on with Solana because it's pretty extraordinary. Huge bullish catalyst for institutional money. ETFs already flowing in. Remember, you got the Solana ETF too. That thing is smoldering. You wait to post language. That Solana ETF is going to explode. Banking eyeing Solana as well. I've seen a lot of talk and a lot of articles about banking. They have Solana in the crosshairs. Post this upgrade, I think you're going to see a lot of publications about banking. A lot of banks adopting Solana's infrastructure. Be looking out for that. There's going to be a chain link factor too as well. And we're talking about payments and funds, essentially. That's all they're interested in. Now, the Solana price reaction so far has been a little muted. It's around 84, 85. What is it right now? I think it's 85. So, and that's due to a lot of market fluctuations, geopolitics, the market, atmosphere. That's what that is. Traders are really not concerned about infrastructure. A lot of the traders, especially retail, which the little retail that we have here, not really concerned about infrastructure. It's all price. It's all about charts and TA and things like that with a lot of people, a lot of buyers. So this is why you see this consolidative effort. But the institutional investors, you have that ETF that's holding this floor at 84. Post, update, post this huge infrastructure shift. And I'm going to tell you guys, long term, this is what the consensus is. Between $220 to $750. And this is by 2030. I don't know how you feel about that, LMFG. What do you feel about that? Because it's a consensus post upgrade. You have this broader adoption, post language, right? Real pricing puts it at around $200 to $750 plus by 2030. I think you're going to, and we're pretty close to 2030, right? And this is a bull scenario, obviously, but broader adoption, when you really think about it, you pull out, you take into consideration what I'm talking about, guys, when it comes to this upgrade. Validator economy is going to be very, very bullish for the validators. Developer economy, they're going to love this. You're getting a bargain at $84. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I do. Like I said, by 2030, I mean, whenever this Clarity Act gets through and everything starts rolling, it's going to be trillions of dollars that will roll into this. And you've heard me, I say $7 to $10 trillion within a couple of years of the Clarity Act going through. And then from there, it's just going to snowball because by that time, everybody's going to be using it and you won't even know you'll be using blockchain. You
won't even know it, yeah. Yep.
Whichever one you're on. So, and you got all the fees, you got burning consensus in there for a lot of these chains, and it'll snowball and possibly that high. Yeah, I mean $750. I mean, look at Ethereum. Look at
absolutely.
Binance. You got to think. And BNB has just been snowballing with traffic now. Smart contract kicks ass over there, right? So we'll see. Rock and roll. And like I said, we're at what, 2.5, 2.7 trillion?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
that's
absolutely.
Nothing compared to what's going to come into this.
That's peanuts. That's literally peanuts, yeah.
In 2050, where's it going to be? 100 trillion, 80 trillion? I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's if the planet is still here.
That's with me. I say I'm holding DCA in this stuff. It's not for me. It's for my kids and my grandkids. You know what I mean? And if they could not spend this stuff when I'm gone and they don't spend this for 50 years, they're going to have a lot of money there, They have to try to build an estate or something.
No, I'm with you, brother. Of course, broader adoption, those are the factors. Which you're going to get it if they execute this properly. This particular upgrade, bull scenario tied with that adoption, I think it's easily going to get to $1,000, honestly. No question about that. I'm very bullish on this upgrade and a lot of other things too as well. We're going to spotlight a lot of them, but this particular L1 upgrade is very significant for this big player because Solana is the darling, right? This is what we've been playing with for the last 4 years. Among other platforms, you mentioned BNB too, and that were smoldering at around $200, and all of a sudden, boom, that thing went up to $1,100. And we see this happen with these upgrades and this broader adoption. Now, I think it's at $600 right now, so it did, correct from that 11. I think it actually eclipsed $1,200. So, and that took a long time. Now, long term, from where it's at now to around $750. Again, 2030, that's a long hold. But you're getting a good price at 84. Not financial advice, but I'm just saying, guys, you really need to pay attention to what I'm telling you when it comes to this, because there's going to be other chains that are going to be actually moving this way as well. A lot of devs are observing what's going on with Solana. Okay. And they're going to mimic this. They're going to understand what's going on here, and they're going to have to mimic this. They're not necessarily copy this as VM, but they're going to have to actually go and pop the hood on their own infrastructure so that they can make that hospitable for what's going to happen going into the next 5 years when it comes to this merger of real world activity into the digitized atmosphere that we have here. Because I do believe, like I said earlier, they want all of this on one rail. They want everything to be compartmentalized and running on one rail. That way they can regulate it easier. It makes for a more easier regulative atmosphere for the regulators. And Solana gets it. So obviously there's some risk involved here, execution risk, biggest protocol change ever. So past upgrades have caused outages. We've saw this. So it's in the testing phase right now. So hopefully everything goes well. So when they do start crossing over with this beautiful upgrade, this infrastructure shift, there's no outages. So hopefully everything goes well. But if it does, we understand this happens with even the best, right? When it comes to these type of major shifts, infrastructure shifts, upgrades. There can be some issues, so I think they're ready for that LMFGI because they've had their actual issues in the past. So I think they're ready for that if that happens. But I think this is going to go pretty smoothly because of the past, because of all the past issues that Solana has dealt with. I think the team is seasoned. They kind of understand what to look for and what may happen. That's why it's in test phase right now. So I'm pretty bullish on it. So bottom line, just to cap this, Alpenglow is the single biggest fundamental upgrade on Solana's 2026 roadmap. If it ships cleanly, it cements Solana as the performance king among all particular layer 1 technologies, and it supercharges the institutional narrative as well. We already talked about this. So we talk about the Clarity Act, the banks pouring in billions post Clarity Act. It's not a lot of hype, guys. It's basically a protocol level leap for Solana that directly addresses Solana's historical pain points. We're talking finality lag, congestion, bottlenecking effect, throughput issues, things of that nature, high fees during these, low throughput, activities. They're addressing all of this. And I just want to hand clap that. It's beautiful. LMFG, as we move out, I'm not seeing anything that's really popping. We're going to go ahead and move to the giveaway too. I'm going to have to check it out. But your lasting take on what you've heard, brother, to close out, what you take Bitcoin, Ethereum lags, what we're looking at with Solana, Clarity Act, closing remarks, brother, as we move to the giveaway.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. I think a lot is going to be hindering on what goes on out there in Iran. I mean, really think about it. If that all goes away and the fuel prices come way down real fast, and everything's hunky-dory, I think it would only take a couple of months where we'll really see a huge turnaround. You got a lot of factories starting to open up now, too, with all the investments companies coming in here, building here. So we'll see. But if this thing drags on, it's going to get real ugly. And believe me, you're going to see he's going to have to raise rates. Wash.
I think so too. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
His hands will be tied. I mean, the labor market, it's great. It could hold off a lot, but it's only so much. So it's ugly. Well, my fingers are crossed. This Iran thing gets done and it's over with, and everything will be hunky-dory. And somehow they get this Clarity Act through. I believe right now Warren's screaming about Ripple now. So
yeah, I saw that.
They're already cleared from the SEC. Jesus, she's just going to keep throwing anything that she can to throw it on the wall, see what sticks, and that's it. That's her mission. And not for the people. She's all for the banks, guys. Period. In the report. It is what it is. Let's hope for the best. That's about it, man. Everybody, enjoy.
Yeah, I like it. we got to stay positive, but we also have to be realistic too as well. I was gonna get into Ethereum, but I don't want to. We'll keep it light. So we're gonna do the giveaway right now, and I think I got everybody on the wheel for today's giveaway. So we'll do a double check. And all you have to do to qualify to be involved with these giveaways, guys, is to become a member and interact with the member content, member only content. And then I look at the interaction. I take you off the actual comment reel and I put you on the wheel. That's how you get the ticket to get on the wheel. Become a member and just interact with the member content that I post for you guys. We're going to actually be posting a video for the members, and we're going to be talking about AI trading, specific AI traders, the actual apps and the actual tech that's out, give you a broad view on what's going on with that, because that's exploding when it comes to AI trading, the disadvantages versus the advantages, and how to actually navigate that AI trader space. That is the next member video that will be dropping this week, and hopefully you enjoy this. So I think we're good there. Let's go ahead and get this video started. Let's go. The giveaway, I'm sorry. I think it's going to be Rami. Yeah, absolutely. So we have Rami. He's going to be the first winner, 90158. Right. Congratulations, Rami. All I need is that actual wallet address. We're giving out Sol today. So let's get two more. I think it's going to be Alina. I think it's going to be Alina. So it's going to be Alina 654. Congratulations, Alina. That was a great win. And we need one more. And I think it's going to be LMFG. Look at this. And it is. LMFG, congratulations, bro. Hand clap to you. Look at there. So let's go ahead and get a result.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll, baby. Rami 90158 is going to be the first one. We got Alina 654 is going to be number 2. And LMFG, you are going to round up the actual winner circle. You guys know what to do. Just send all I need is that Sol address, and we're gonna get those actual rewards to you. I don't see anything else, guys. We'll end with $76,000, pretty much consolidating at 76,000. The ETF bleeding has stopped, so we'll see if we get back to 82. I don't think so. I think that we do get language. Let's just say, we do get this language. We get passage of the current bill. Donald Trump signs it on July the 4th. I think you're gonna see a bull run. You're going to see bull run activity after the signing of that bill. I have no reason to doubt that. The market could go bonkers. Now, if we do not get a bill, be prepared for a crash down to 50K. It's going to be very bearish. And if we don't get a bill and we get war, I don't even want to talk about that. Let's just leave it at that. I don't even want to speak that into fruition. I'll just keep it positive as we leave. We're going to get that Clarity Act bill passed. Current state, the banks are going to lose, unfortunately, because they agreed to the compromise. Donald Trump is going to sign it, right? He's going to sign that bill into law, and then we're going to get a massive rush in inflow. ETF inflow is going to be phenomenal. We're going to get a massive adoption when it comes to a lot of these protocols. A lot of these chains, Solana is going to run with the bulls as well, especially post this upgrade, especially after Clarity Act, market structure. And a lot of altcoins are going to move up past their ATH's LMFG. This is my positive prediction. Okay, so we'll just put that in the ether. And with that being said, everybody have a fantastic day, and hand clap to you as well. And we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for coming, bro, and I hope you start feeling a whole lot better. All right.
Yeah, man. Thanks, brother.
Take it easy, guys. We'll see you on the next show. And be looking out for that member video. We're gonna be talking about AI trading. Take it easy.